What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. This week I'm going to be predicting when we're going to get the Marvel's Avengers beta. Now, I've talked about this a few weeks ago. We talked about what's going on with the beta, and since then, I believe that was before Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So I want to include kind of what we know from that, maybe some hints, and then ultimately, again, predict when we're going to be getting this thing. So really, really quickly, before I jump into that, I do just want to promote my second channel. I have a second channel. It's a lot like this one, just mainly more talking about games before they release, when they release, all that kind of stuff. I'll leave a link for it in the description below if you guys want to check it out and subscribe there. I'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, make sure you guys are subscribed here, have the bell icon turned on, and also let me know any other Avengers videos you guys want me to do. I tend to make these every couple of weeks. I want to talk about, or I want to actually cover the game, when the beta comes out, when the game comes out. So we're going to be having lots of Avengers videos. If there's something specific you guys want to see me do, definitely let me know. So, okay, the beta has been really not talked about much, right? It's pretty much been left behind, although we know, the age-old thing that if you pre-ordered this game, or if you still do pre-order the game, you'll get access to the beta. We know that I believe PlayStation will end up getting it first, okay? So we have those kind of things to work with. We also know now that Square Enix is taking part of the Summer Games Fest. Now, a few weeks ago, I feel like maybe it was only last week, they had said, Square Enix came out and said that, hey, we're not going to do an online show. We're not going to do like basically a replacement E3 show for us, okay? But we're going to do announcements on a game-to-game basis. Now, they are, I believe, the second big company, like really big company, to have said that. Bethesda, all the way back, I believe, like in March, late March, they came out, and they were the first ones to say it and say, hey, we're not going to do a E3 online show, because Bethesda normally does an E3, basically a stage show, right? They said, we're not going to do it, but we are going to have announcements throughout the summer. So Square Enix basically said the same thing. So Square Enix, it could be like a new Life is Strange game. Marvel's Avengers obviously is the big one that Square Enix is doing. Any Kingdom Hearts game obviously falls in that. Final Fantasy, they have a lot of properties and many, many more. And so I would not rule out at all that they would probably go multiple times this summer talking about different things. And again, so it's on a game-to-game basis. Now, one thing that's rather interesting is when Jeff Keighley did the Summer Games Fest, the very first trailer promoting the fact that they are going to do that. And he had basically a hype trailer. Now, he didn't call it that. In fact, he actually made a trailer specifically called like a hype trailer. But when he was talking in the first trailer, when it was talking about like reveals, announcements, and then they even said that it's going to be also connecting us to games, that we'll be able to play, free demos, and there'll be games that kind of get announced there and will release like that day, and we'll be able to buy and play them. That trailer, when it gets to the part where it says that you'll be able to like play games at home, the very first part of that video right after, like the very first thing you see is Hulk in Marvel's Avengers. So it's Marvel's Avengers. So, basically, I think that is 1,000% a tease. And again, is it an obvious tease? Yeah, I do think so, because, the game comes out in September. We're getting very, very close. You got to give us this beta. And when we talked about it a few weeks ago, we kind of tried to theorize, well, when is a good time? Do you do it like a month out? That normally is a pretty solid time. So does that mean like early August? And then I guess that also means, well, when do you announce it? And we also kind of need to know what we're going to be doing. I think we need to know that, what we're going to be doing in this beta. And also, if PlayStation gets it first, and then, it comes to the rest of them, does that mean you have to do it even earlier? So do you have to do like late July for PlayStation, and then early August for Xbox? And again, what exactly is going to be in this game? So they still have some stuff they have to tell us, but the good news is, and I guess here's a couple other things to keep in mind. So Jeff Keighley had that in the trailer. I do think that is a direct, basically a direct nod saying, okay, you're going to get game demos, you're going to get game betas, you're going to get games that you can buy that we're going to announce. But probably, Jeff Keighley likes to do that, right? They announce sometimes smaller games, and then they say, and you can go buy this game right now, right? It actually used to be like a Sony thing back in the day, right? Or at least around E3 time, a lot of companies would say, hey, here's some smaller games, and you can buy this game, or you can pre-order this game right now. Go on the PlayStation Store, and you can get it, right? So it's kind of like an age-old thing that happens. But again, interestingly enough, Avengers being the very first thing that you see right after it says that definitely is a nod and going in the right direction. And one final thing is that Square Enix is listed in Phase 1 of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. Now, I've gone over my predictions a couple different times of, different games I think are going to get announced at Summer Games Fest, and one of the things I've said is, obviously, there's more phases. In fact, Jeff Keighley has said there's more than one phase that's going to be in Summer Games Fest, but we don't know when Phase 1 ends. At least I should say. So this video goes up Monday. I'm recording this a few days ago. So, I guess something could have happened, but as of right now, when I'm recording at least, we don't know when Phase 1 officially ends. I've been saying my speculation, my prediction, my theory is that it ends the end of June. I think it goes to the end of June, and then July starts Phase 2. Whether there's only 2 phases in all, or whether there's 3 phases, or however many, I think that is generally the plan. Which means what? Well, it means Square Enix on the graphic that says all the companies that are participating in Phase 1, Square Enix is on that graphic. Now, again, what do we know that Square Enix has? Well, pretty much the big game, the biggest thing they have right now, and also in terms of the game that is coming out, I guess the closest of any other game, because remember, obviously Final Fantasy VII is already out, is Marvel's Avengers, right? Coming out early September. So that is a big game. That is the big game. So you've got to imagine that that is the announcement that they're looking to make. So in terms of when we're going to hear about this beta, I truly do believe it's only a matter of time, obviously, but it's only a matter of a couple weeks. I truly think we're within 4 to 5 weeks at the absolute most, of getting details on this beta, because you don't announce the beta, the day before it comes out. I think you give people a little bit of time, especially again because you have to pre-order this game. And it's a little bit different than like Predator Hunting Grounds. When Predator came to the PS4, there was a free trial weekend that anybody could play this game. You didn't have to have pre-ordered it to have played the trial, right? And they announced that, I believe, like 2 weeks before it happened, somewhere around that time. So they give a little bit of time in between. And then also, again, you have to keep in mind that it's different for Avengers because you have to pre-order the game in order to get into the beta. So you got to give people enough time as well that if they didn't pre-order the game yet, to pre-order it, right? So I do think that our prediction that we said, and a lot of people I think echoed what I said in that video as well, that it seems like an early August thing makes the most sense. I don't think you do it too close to the game coming out, because ideally the whole point of betas, trials, demos, anything like that, I guess maybe not demos, but besides that, is to get people to experience a select part of your game that you like handpick, but also to receive player feedback and to make as many improvements as you can in between the ending of the trial, the beta, the alpha, whatever you want to call it, and then the game coming out, right? That's the whole point. So if you do it like a week and a half before the game comes out, that doesn't make sense. And again, even if you include the fact that it comes to PlayStation first, that's extra amount of time that you have to give so that everybody can play it. So I do think this is still a early August thing. I really haven't changed my mind there. Would it be nice to have in July? Yeah. The gaming world is kind of filling up in July now, though, isn't it? Because now we have Ghost of Tsushima, we have Destroy All Humans. Those are like the last 2-ish weeks of the month. So July is actually kind of full. I actually would kind of prefer Marvel's Avengers to be a little bit after that, right? So that I can enjoy Ghost of Tsushima and Destroy All Humans. And there's actually quite a few games releasing in July. June and July this year are pretty darn big. And then August, again, like I said in that video, we know August is a big month, right? August is normally, July is normally a month that there's not a lot going on, and then August kind of kicks things back off to get ready for the fall. Again, probably because of what's happened around the world that, obviously has been moved. Everything actually has been completely shifted, but August still is a big time. So I would expect a couple big-ish games to release in August. I do think it's a good time for this beta. And again, I just honestly think it's only a matter of time. Square Enix, unless they're also going to be on like Phase 2, which doesn't really seem likely, and we don't really know if companies are going to be, although Jeff Keighley did say some companies are going to be announcing multiple things. Some companies may be on more than one phase of Summer Games Fest, but I really do think that this is something you have to announce sooner rather than later. And here we are, and we really haven't gotten, I know people will say like, yeah, they've done a couple different trailers, they've done some question and answer kind of things, but I do think this is the time. Like, we're only a couple months away. The game was actually supposed to release this month, wasn't it? Like, right around this time was when we were going to get the game, but it was delayed. So we're getting very, very close. I think this is normally the time, and maybe a little bit closer than this, like June or July, is when you kind of ramp up your coverage on the game in terms of them, in terms of showing more, discussing more. And I get it. They have talked about a lot. And I do think you can over talk. You can talk too much about it and show us too much. I get that. I do think this is a game, though, that you have to continue to try to win people over, because there's a very big divide in terms of people that are into this game and not into this game. There's a lot of worry there. There's a lot of excitement there. I definitely see both sides to it, and I've talked about both sides of it on the channel, right? So I'm still excited. I'm excited. I want to play this beta. I want to find out more about this beta. I want to see literally what are we going to be able to do. Is it like an hour experience? Are we going to be able to play with friends? Because we know there's like an online component to Avengers, but is that going to be the beta? We don't really know. And so again, phase 1, I really do believe ends in the end of June, which means I think we're getting this announcement within the next 4 or 5 weeks at the latest. Something like this also, by the way, I don't think they would give a massive amount of lead-in time to, so I think they could just announce this randomly on one day and we just won't even see it coming, right? I don't really think they need to say, hey, in 2 weeks we have an Avengers announcement we want to make. I don't think they would necessarily do that. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? You excited for the beta? What do you think we're going to be doing in this beta? When do you think it's coming out? All of those things, let me know. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon turned on. I'll have the second channel's link in the description. And again, I want to cover Avengers as much as I can. I'll be making more and more videos on this game when we get the announcement of the beta, all that kind of stuff. There'll be loads of Avengers videos on the channel. Okay, both probably good and bad. Trying to look at both sides of this game, which I know upsets some people, but I am trying to just stay as unbiased and trying to give you guys my blatantly honest opinion on as many things as I possibly can, okay? Thank you again for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.